Hi, friends, and welcome to ScreenVomit, the only movie podcast for normal people. I'm, of course, your host, Kayla. Here with me is my twin colleague, Jay.
Hey.
And, well, first of all, we have to say, if you didn't notice yet, we got new damn artwork for the pod.
Boing, boing.
Thanks to Sophie McTear for the artwork, because we're obsessed with it. It's so good.
Thank you.
And we'll drop their link in the show notes. Check their stuff out. It's very good. And then with us today, we have, of course, a special guest. Our guest today, I would say I've known longer than anyone that I know. She is the host of a horror movie podcast called Not Your Final Girl. And that will be my pal, Candace Sluder.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the pod.
Yeah, we have, Kayla and I have known each other since high school, at least. Maybe even middle school.
That's wild.
Yeah, honestly, it's a little horrifying.
Yeah.
I have questions.
It's the real horror is being perceived before you were 25 or so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, my nightmare.
Same.
I think about all the time how embarrassing it is that anybody knew me before 25.
Yeah.
Because I was such a GD fool.
It's not fair.
What was the vibe? Because I get a lot of different vibes. Because sometimes it'll be goth. Then sometimes it's like, no, I was more of like a rocker. Or no, it's then sometimes like, oh, you're a movie person. What was going on?
Oh, you know what? I mean, I want to say primarily goth. It was like,
okay.
I mean, it's kind of like, I feel like a little bit of like a Daria vibe and like gothness.
Okay.
And
My goth years were like 8th grade and 9th grade mostly.
That's true.
Then went to more of a rocker / whatever alternative, I guess you would say.
It's just an alt kind of vibe in general. Like, we don't have to be married to one subculture, do we?
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's true, though. I definitely started, I was probably like 8th and 9th grade, a little bit like goth punk or whatever, trying for it as my limited budget allowed me. And then after that was kind of a little more like, people would be like, oh, she's like an indie girl. And I didn't like that, like, description, but it was true. So that's definitely how I was dressing and acting. So, you know, what are you going to do?
Is what it is.
But yeah, I think Kayla was probably one of the first people I knew, one of the first, at least, women I knew who liked horror movies and liked to talk about them.
Yeah.
And we hung out with a group of people, like, post-high school who really liked super fucked up horror movies. So definitely some origin story shit. This is kind of like a pivotal moment, like, horror-wise, I guess, for me at least, was that they kind of made new people go through a sort of hazing where they made them watch this really fucked up short film called Cutting Moments. And it's like, I mean, it's just like a couple that's having some domestic issues, and it seems really normal until they start, like, just mutilating each other. She, like, cuts off her lips, and then they, like, cut off his dick with hedge clippers, and then she cuts off her tits and stuff. And it's really violent. And
normal people stuff,
right? Where you just come into somebody's house, and they're like, watch this!
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, awesome. So,
yeah.
I don't know, Kayla, did they make you do that?
I don't remember. Truly blacked out most of anything that happened between 18 to 26 for me. But I do remember, I mean, I for sure remember we would hang out there. So like this place we used to go had a community meal every Tuesday. And we would stay up like all night long with a group of people watching horror movies just all night. And it certainly I watched a lot of fucked up stuff. There.
Yeah, it would become increasingly fucked up sort of as the night went on.
And I contributed some of the fucked up stuff, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been like prime. I used to go to the Horror Hound conventions, and that would have been prime time for me going to those as well. Like, I would have been like from 18 to like 21. I went to those all the time. So
yeah, so you knew all the good shit.
Yeah.
Hey, Kayla. Since I never freaking asked you this, and since it's October, the season of spooks, what's your freaking favorite horror movie? This goes for you too, Candace.
Ooh.
It's a tough question to answer because I feel like there are a couple different reasons why you watch horror movies, and there are a couple different types, right? So, like, there are, like, the funny, like, fun, goofy horror movies, and then there's also, like, ones that are, like, actually scary, but then there's also ones that are, like, super psychological, you know, twisted shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's, like, just dear to me because it was, like, formative, too, so I'm like, I don't know, should I, like, I don't want to pick something that's too recent because I've got stuff that, like, is important to me.
Right.
It's kind of almost as hard as just picking a regular favorite movie.
Yeah, you know, me and Kali were just talking about this where we were like, if you ask me the movies I think about as being, like, my favorite movies of all time are probably, you know, stuff I watched growing up or whatever, but I think that I've seen better movies in the last couple of years, so, like...
Yeah, what I like to ask instead is, like, and this is what I tell people, is, like, these are my favorite movies right now. So, like, my favorite movie right now is still Mandy.
Yeah.
Like, number one favorite movie. And it has been for a couple of years, and I know it'll be dethroned at some point.
Yeah.
That's solid,
But,
though.
like, it's like a wrestling title belt. You wear it for a little bit, and then you lose it.
Oh, okay, I like that.
I always considered Martyrs to be, like, my favorite horror movie, but I haven't seen it in so long, it's hard to even say. But I just remember I saw that at a movie screening first, and then I seen it on DVD since. But I remember that movie being like, I had never seen something so fucked up.
Yeah.
And, like,
Hell yeah.
and, like, also just proposing these crazy ideas. Yeah, that one I remembered for a long time. I said that was my favorite. The Orphanage I always go back to, which I'm about to do on Candace's podcast here soon.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, me and Gabby rewatched Martyrs sometime last year. And
It's probably been like 10 years since I've seen it, so I don't even know anymore. But
it was a very long time between screenings, but we watched it again, and I thought it held up really well. I had the same sort of feelings watching it as I did the last time I watched it.
Such a crazy
What year
movie.
is that from? I've not seen it.
2000, it's from 2008.
2008,
Okay.
yeah.
Who's in it?
Nobody that you would know. It's
a
French.
Okay,
movie.
wow, okay.
French people.
Oh boy. Okay, never mind. Bwah, bwah. I will not watch a
Dude,
movie.
it's insane though.
with
From what I
subtitles.
remember,
I'm sure
it's
it is,
absolutely
yeah. I'll watch
GD bonkers.
It is fucking
yeah.
bonkers. Apparently, they wanted Kristen Stewart to be in the remake. Like an American remake.
Oh my god, no way. There's no way. No.
No, that would be.
They
They
shouldn't do
also
it.
just shouldn't remake that movie.
No.
No.
Yeah.
It's a one and done. Anyway, Candace, tell us about your podcast.
Okay. I host, I guess, technically, a podcast called Not Your Final Girl with two of my friends, and we just started out kind of talking about how we just started talking about horror movies a lot with me and them, and eventually we were like, this is cool, we think we're really smart and funny, and we want to record ourselves talking and see if other people want to listen to us. So normally we pick 2 to 3 movies to talk about, usually on some kind of theme, but even when we don't have a solid theme that unites the movies, we end up sort of finding one, which is pretty cool, and that's pretty much it. We're just, we started out in life being women who liked horror movies, and it's not seen as a common thing. It actually is really common for women to like horror movies.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
it's just not something that you necessarily find other people who want to talk about it with you. So
It's the same like with the other subcultures we're part, like with punk and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
all kinds of women
absolutely.
like punk, but we're just pushed out. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And you kind of get the sense from other kind of fandom people that your opinions are not as cool or as informed or as valid as theirs.
Yeah.
So we kind of started talking about that and talking about how we wanted to make a space to talk about horror movies with other women who like horror movies. And
Hell yeah.
actually a lot of the people who have ended up becoming really into our podcast and being like our people that we interact with a lot are not necessarily women who liked horror movies who would have said that they were horror movie fans like before they started listening to us. which is cool. I feel like we've been convincing people. We've been like radicalizing
Hell
movie
yeah.
fans
Hell yeah.
into horror.
Yeah, yeah.
I think horror movies, like similarly to like wrestling, also had a reputation for a long time of being something that objectifies women.
Yes.
You know, like especially if you think about like the classic slashers and stuff like that,
Totally.
Yeah, but
which may have pushed some
actually,
people
like,
away.
What people have liked about horror movies for a long time is that they are, as sort of a lesser genre, quote unquote, able to explore ideas and themes that other movies either won't get into or will do a really bad job of getting into because they're trying to be too serious about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so we talk about a lot of queer representation and just, I mean, we've ended up talking about a lot of like disability narratives lately, which is interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just like stuff that
Hell
that
yeah.
other movies you don't normally see discussed in a way that's not annoying and kind of Oscar
Yeah.
baity.
Hey, what movie did we see today?
What movie are we talking about?
So today we are talking about the 2014 movie Gone Girl,
Oh, fuck. I just remembered.
which was a pick from Candace.
Yes.
Candace, why'd you pick this movie?
Well, this movie, for one thing, the screenplay was written by Gillian Flynn, who I love. She also wrote the novel Gone Girl, and I love everything that she does. But
Have you read the book?
She rocks.
I have read the book. I did read the book before I watched the movie, which might kind of inform how I took in
Yeah.
the plot. But she wrote the screenplay too, so she was probably trying to do kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And also, it just covers some stuff that is just my complete jam. One of them being true crime.
Okay.
I love true crime as a genre, but it's also like a whole problem. So I like
Yeah.
that this kind of
Yeah.
the story kind of addresses a lot of what is wrong with true crime as a genre, and also it has a lot to say about how miserable straight people are.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Which also is great. I mean, honestly, rich straight people.
no,
this is a
it's all
lot
straight
about-
people. It's all straight people.
It's probably true. You're right. This does have a lot of the trappings of miserable, rich, straight people, which is a lot of fun for me.
All right, so let's see. Let's go down the cast here. Well, first of all, we got to mention the director, notable director David Fincher, who has done just so many like gigantic movies. Seven,
Been on a hot
Zodiac,
streak for
Fight
like
Club.
10 years.
Girl with Dragon Tattoo, Benjamin Button. He's done all this shit.
Yeah.
Hot
Yeah,
director.
and like The Social Network.
Yeah, big director.
Yeah, Fight Club. But we don't want to get into that.
I think I hate David Fincher.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no!
Why?
You're listing off these movies, and I'm like, oh yeah, these movies that got all these hype, and I didn't.
It's weird. Like they're like good movies, but they almost exclusively have extremely annoying fandoms.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah.
They're too mainstream.
Maybe.
Seven rocks. Seven objectively rocks. Fight Club, yeah, we don't have to get into because I don't want to have to.
Yeah, let's just not.
I have not touched that memory of mine in a long time.
Yeah, that would be a Kali formative film, I would imagine.
Oh God, I don't want to open my diary. Zodiac Rock.
I like Zodiac.
I think
Yeah,
I
Zodiac.
hated The Social Network.
I hated The Social
I need
Network.
to rewatch
I just
it.
rewatched it and I hated it. Don't rewatch it.
You know, I like The Social Network.
Oh
I
my
hate
God.
Benjamin Button.
I fucking hate Benjamin Button with the goddamn
I wanted
passion.
to die.
I don't remember Benjamin Button that much, so but that might be its own testament.
Okay.
It's not very memorable, but I do remember it because that night my car got towed out of the theater parking lot.
Oh no.
Pissed.
Okay, no, I'm mixed. I'm mixed on David
Okay.
Fincher.
Mixed reviews. All right, the rest of the cast. We have Ben Affleck from the famous Daredevil movie from 2002.
The
that
incredible,
guy?
formative movie. Formative movie.
We have Rosamund Pike, who was from Pride and Prejudice and the famous Doom movie.
No, and also another formative movie, Die Another Day.
Okay.
The James Bond
Oh
movie.
yeah, she's a Bond girl. We have Neil Patrick Harris from How I Met Your Mother, of course. Tyler Perry, needs no explanation. Patrick Fugit from Almost Famous. And we have Missy Pyle, who was in Ma, that we've done on the pod, and also everything. She's in
Everything.
fucking everything that's ever been made.
Yep.
And notable music credit on this, Trent Reznor did all the music.
Yep, my dad.
Colin's dad from Nine Inch Nails. All right, Kali, tell us what the critic scores are.
All right, so with Cricket Scores this week, we got Rotten Tomatoes coming in with an 87. A solid fresh, if you will. And with Metacritic doing a little 79, just a little tweak. And Google user, the wild card, our sweet babies, 88%.
Almost right in line with Rotten Tomatoes. That's a first.
Yes. So that's a pretty unanimous posy.
Yeah.
Posy
Mostly
vibes on
posy.
Yeah,
this.
we got like a B plus kind of territory.
Yeah, I'd take that home to mama. That's my new catchphrase.
No.
Please.
Let's watch a trailer and then we'll get into it.
Oh my god, I have to read some of these goddamn YouTube comments. People are going crazy in these YouTube comments for the trailer.
Oh, let me see it.
Okay, first off, you have to wonder, what is the comment section of the Gone Girl trailer?
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
why are you
Who-
commenting?
What brings you to that point in your life?
We got someone here, Russell Flowers, 6 years ago said, having read the book, I'll say Ben Affleck should make a perfect Nick Dunn. That got 2,000 likes.
Wow.
Philip E. Burbs, 7 months ago, said, that is how you edit a trailer.
I love that one. Kalani Kawandala said, the ending messed me up so bad I literally wanted to scream.
We're reading more YouTube comments from now on.
Yeah, we are. We never do this. I have to say,
I love hearing from these passionate Gone Girl fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Ben Affleck. I gotta be honest.
All right, let's hash him out.
I feel like he's kind of a sad man, and I just always see him as kind of a sad man.
Okay.
He's known for being publicly miserable all the time. There's like a million pictures of him suffering openly.
I would like to say that I adore Ben Affleck.
Of course you do.
Simply because he is now currently in attainable hot guy status for me.
You think
I'm
so?
I'm like, I could be as hot as that. You know?
I guess.
And that gives me hope.
I would say I don't find him to be hot at all.
Exactly. He's like, would you, Kayla,
Yeah.
be honest, you date him.
Absolutely not. There's no
If
way.
he, well, okay, him, but with a different person, but you don't know who Ben
No,
Affleck is.
I still wouldn't.
Well, oh my god.
I wrote in my
kidding me?
notes, thinking about Ben Affleck makes me anti-horny.
Wow.
Wow, we got a anti-Affleck.
It makes my weenie shrivel up and go back inside.
He is
Yeah.
on some level, like, I gotta say I agree with this YouTube commenter that he's a good cast for Nick Dunn, because he's someone who you could see how people would perceive him as a good-looking guy and a charming person, but I would be like, something about that is fucked up, and I don't want anything to do with it.
No, totally. I wholly agree with you that he is a...
I would do it, though, for sure. Once.
Yo, without a doubt.
I mean, he
You gotta
did
know
have
what
a
it's like.
huge hog
We'll get to it.
for all the huge hog stands.
What made my day.
All right, so the first thing that we notice about this movie is, of course, that it is 2.5 hours long.
That is
Oh, boy.
long, and normally I do not tolerate that shit. Over 2 hours, go
Thank you.
fuck yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, what do you want from me? Pay me. Pay me to watch it.
Yeah, it did make it a little bit of a, like, oh, I have to, like, set aside a day for this movie.
Yeah, you better, like...
Oh, boy.
And yeah, I'm a little embarrassed about it, because that's not normally my jam. I'm, like, anything over 90 minutes. Yeah, pay
Yeah.
me by the half hour, man.
Yep.
You know,
But-
I think that's been like a, like around the time that this movie came out, that was getting like pretty normal, like having 2.5+ hour movies.
That's true.
But-
I think there was some backlash, and it started to not
It's going down
happen
again.
as
Yeah.
much.
This is what, like 2012?
2014. It's set in 2012, weirdly.
Oh, thank you. That's where I was thinking
Yep.
of. Okay. Did any of you see this in the theaters?
No.
No, I watched it
I didn't
after
either.
I read the book, which was like only a few years ago.
Tight.
I'd never seen it. And Kali, you'd never seen it, right?
No, I was excited to watch it. I really was. Because, like, I'd heard all about it. I was excited because what my mom thought of it. My mom is an head of HR for for some hospitals, and she is short and gullible and sweet. She hates swearing famously and calls it verbal pornography.
Okay, sick.
Which tracks. And so she likes to keep up with things. Mm-hmm. But things are so filthy.
Right.
But she still likes to keep up with it. So when she read Gone Girl, she was horrified. I remember her telling me about reading it, probably like 2012 or something, and being like, it's just such a cynical view of marriage. The people are so despicable, and it like horrified her that such filth could be portrayed in a story, because it really is just about just garbage, unlikable scumbags.
Everything is ugly and everyone is awful. Gillian Flynn really has this knack for when you finish her books, making you feel like you need to take a shower and maybe move out of the country.
Yeah, I have not read any of Gillian Flynn's books. I'm a total poser, but I have watched like all of her shows. Fucking Sharp Objects. But she fucking rules.
Yeah. She has a way of doing genre fiction in a way that it's not like, oh, it's elevated, but it's like really good. Like, and it sort of asks some questions about why you enjoy this particular genre fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Which I really like.
I had a quote from Gillian Flynn that said, like, I write for people who are readers the way that I'm a reader, and I don't care if I dislike a character. I care if I find them interesting, or if they make me laugh, or if I'm trying to figure them out. I'm always more interested in that. So that's what she wrote about her character.
That definitely tracks.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and it, like, does push you in a certain way, because I think it's natural for us to seek a protagonist, or just someone to root for, someone to side with, or relate to. And if you relate to, like, and I think everyone on some level innately does relate to this movie. I think your brain just kind of works that way. It makes you look at dark shit of yourself. And I think Gillian Flynn does that a lot.
Yeah.
In trying to get the viewer or reader or to reflect their own shit a little bit. Which sucks. No one likes having their own, like, or being, like, to be, like, self-critical or be like, oh my god, am I overbearing on my partner? Am I, like, alcoholic? Am I X, Y, or Z?
Yeah, like, please, ma'am, do not throw my own relational shit back in my face.
Exactly, like, I'm just trying to relax, but instead I'm, just like wearing me out.
Yeah, and
with the anxiety.
And both of these characters, like, I mean, the reason if you're right that you're looking for a protagonist, and both of the sort of narrative forces in this story are like trying to get you on their side. It's a little more prominent in the book because you hear a little bit more from Amy, but they're both kind of like, you should like me. I'm the one you should like. And
right.
Yeah. That's really fucking helpful. Really, I like that because I am famously, I'm just this really obstinate, like, me personally, I'm very obstinate and I don't like being told exactly what to do. And if I feel like someone is trying to get me on their side or trying to get me to buy something, I will just, like, kick back and revolt and, like, fucking hate this. And that is why I struggled with this movie. Because I fucking hated both of these people. I just, like, irredeemably could not stand them.
It's so funny, too, because the way I feel, and sorry, I'm going to be annoying and be like, well, in the book, it's this way. But, like, in the book, it feels more like they are happy in the beginning and that they are, like, a good couple. And in the movie, you watch them and you're like, fuck these people. Like, he proposes to her in front of people and says she has a world-class vagina. It was like, jail. Like, no.
Dude,
not allowed.
The dialogue between the two of them in this movie is absolutely cringe. Like, it is so terrible.
It's cringe!
It is maximum cringe.
And it's like,
this whole movie is cringe!
It really is. Like, and like everything is just an assault on your senses. You see their ugly ass suburban McMansion in Missouri, and you're like, please, no.
Why? Why do you have it?
Yeah, and they both, even in their like ideal life in New York, they both had like annoying media jobs where she's like, I write quizzes for women's magazines for a living.
Yeah. Ugh, the scene of them meeting and like him trying to charm her or whatever.
I
threw up.
So pissed off.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I was so angry watching this movie.
Yeah, you're like, internally, you're like, you gotta poke him in the eye right now. Like, you just gotta poke him in the eye and run away.
Oh my god, yeah.
But she's like, oh, I'm into this. And you're like, what's wrong with her that she likes this?
Honestly.
Yes.
Big cringe. So we should, let's probably just like start at the top and actually like go through it.
Yeah.
So actually the very beginning, just setting up the scene here, I think we have to mention the music, which we already said was from Trent Reznor, but it's like a little ambient, a little spooky. It's pretty cool.
Does its job.
Yeah, I read that David Fincher got the like idea for this type of music specifically because he was at a spa where the music was meant to relax people, but he thought it was creepy and it made him uncomfortable. So he told Trent Reznor to make the music as though it's passive and relaxing, but actually makes you feel dread. And I think mission accomplished.
Yeah,
totally.
And it does. The music feels like it should be like bland, but it feels like something really bad's about to happen.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The music's outstanding.
Yeah. And then the first scene that happens is like Ben Affleck talking about, oh, whenever I'm with my wife, I think about cracking her head open and unspooling her brain.
Yeah.
And trying to get answers. And you're like, all right, that's unnecessarily violent. Interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely like seething with like contempt.
Yeah.
In a kind of subtle way.
Yeah, like way to open a movie. Hachi machi.
Yeah.
So it is July 5th, the morning of their 5-year anniversary. Let's see. Most of the movie is narrated by Amy, the wife, through her diary. So we're like seeing a lot of flashbacks. There's a lot of narration from her. And one of the first flashbacks we get is to when they met, which we kind of talked about a little bit. In 2005 is the setting. Ben Affleck says, like, I'm the guy to save you from all this awfulness. Cut to him eating puss.
This movie is an assault on the senses. Right. That's a perfect way to phrase it. I just felt... I felt like I was like, I didn't want this. This isn't what I wanted.
Nobody asked for this.
See, there are like a couple sex scenes, and they're all like, "Please, God, stop!" Like, there's nothing sexy about them.
This should be. This should be hot. They are two mostly objectively attractive people. Like, it should be hot, and I'm just not getting. Let's say it what it is. It's horny. I'm not getting horny, folks.
Yeah. Rosamund Pike is also like an incredibly beautiful woman, and she just plays her role in such a way that like you would like I would never dream of having sex with her. I don't know. She just has like this, I mean, like you could just hear it like in her narration in the trailer where she has this tone of voice that sounds like I don't know how to describe it. It sounds like she's like a narrator for a documentary or something. She does not sound like a real person.
And dude, if you isolate her lines from this movie, like I just watched the clip last night of the cool girl monologue that happens later in the movie. And just watching it isolated, I'm like, this is so cringe. Everything is so cringe. The dialogue is absolutely unhinged.
It's weird. The dialogue is insane, but the delivery is great.
Yeah, she's also extremely British, so it's cool that she's like so good at doing American accent. It's
true. She even does like a little Southern accent in there.
Mm-hmm.
Convinced me.
So we're on this day of their 5-year anniversary, and Ben Affleck comes home. The door is wide open. The cat's outside, and I'm having a pet peeve here because what happens is he brings the cat in and shuts the door. He finds the broken table. He calls the cops. When the cops get there, the front door is hanging wide open. And then they walk in. They leave the door wide open. What? Do people not shut the door when they come inside a house?
Why was the door wide open? In movies. It like actually drives me insane because I am a person with a cat who will escape. And I'm like,
I know. I'm thinking about
literally
the cat.
The cat escaped. I'm like, you're letting him out.
Yeah. Like, we just had the scene where the cat was escaped. Like, now why is the door hanging open? I don't understand. I hate this in movies.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'd love to leave my door open.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't, because I got 2 cats and I gotta, protect them, but damn, if I could.
You just dream of having an open door all the time?
With, like, bugs all in your house?
Yeah, letting the flies in and shit.
Yeah, bugs in my... Well, I got like a fly net or something, but I'm, just sitting out there playing the banjo or something.
Oh, okay.
Something cool.
All right. Kind of like an Appalachia vibe.
Yeah. I don't play the banjo.
Colin showing his Indiana.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I'm from Indiana. Sorry, I get it.
Pro open doors.
Open doors are cool unless you let the cat out. I will say his relationship with the cat is like my favorite thing in the entire movie because he just like sometimes just holding the cat. Like I'm like, this is the only thing I like about him. At one point he's like in the shit and he like picks up the cat and he's holding him and he's like, you have no idea, do you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I feel that. Relatable.
We love a cat. So when the cops get there, Patrick Fugit is a cop, which I just thought was funny. The cops in this movie, none of the cops besides maybe the main detective look like cops. Like they're all like scrawny, like wiener ass dudes.
I guess that is true.
And I thought that was kind of funny.
Cops were cast weirdly. The cops do. This movie is like not exactly propaganda in any way too, which is kind of cool. They which is just I feel like an aspect of true crime. You like if you consume enough true crime, you're like cops are fucking worthless.
They're terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. They're very incompetent. They don't prevent crime. They show up, pretend to do an investigation, go home, call it a day.
Yeah. Fuck 12. Just to throw that out there.
Oh, absolutely.
It's been said on this pod. There's no
Not
question.
Not only
where
are
we
they
stand.
like fucking terrorists, they're also inefficient at what they proclaim to do.
Yeah.
They're just bad at shit. In fact, like, the main detective, like, actually does notice things and give a shit, and it, like, I mean, not to spoil, but, like, it's a negative to her in her job. They're like, shut the fuck up.
So we got this house with one broken coffee table and a door open, and therefore have come to the conclusion that Amy is missing. So, whatever, we're getting their backstory. They've been in Missouri a couple years. Ben Affleck and his twin sister own a bar called The Bar, which is now a real restaurant, apparently, in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Based off of this movie?
Yeah, why would you... Oh, we want to go to the Gone Girl bar?
It is where it was filmed. They made it into
They built a bar, so they were like, well, someone might as well own this bar now.
Yep, pretty much.
I mean, in a way, I like that. I wish every place were just a film set. That'd be very cool.
Sure. I've gone to some of those like pop-up things, and those have been pretty fun. I went to the Saved by the Bell one, the Max.
That rules.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't where it was filmed, though.
I would never want to do a Gone Girl one.
No.
No, I don't want anything to do
Their
with
bar wasn't
anything
even
in this
cool.
Story.
They did not show much interior of the bar, did they?
They showed a little bit, like the very first thing is him being in the bar. Yeah. And it's just like classic bar, like everything's made out of wood. There's a bar top and like tables and chairs. And then there's board games behind the bar. Children's board games. And that's it.
Let us tour the freaking Gone Girl house.
Yeah, but even the house is like pretty boring.
The house is awful. Like I was so upset every time they like showed like a wide shot of the house.
It is aggressively awful.
Yeah, it's just like a classic like clapboard suburban house, those pop-up houses.
Yeah.
Like way, way too big for 2 people. Like what the fuck? What are you doing in this house?
A balcony.
So we find out that Ben Affleck and Amy have been together for a total of 7 years. However, he knows absolutely nothing about her. He doesn't know if she has any friends. He doesn't know shit about her, really.
My man is checked out.
Yeah. And he said she had no friends, but then a woman shows up and says that she was her best friend. So we get like our first, he might be lying or be mysterious or something kind of vibe, I think, when that happens.
Yep.
Yeah. Inconsistencies.
And when they go to the police station, his dad's there who has Alzheimer's and has escaped from his home. And that just seemed like so random.
Did it factor,
It never came back into play, right?
The only thing I
only
thing I think that it had to do with anything was that his dad is clearly a misogynist. He's like, calling all the women around him bitches and shit, and like, being like, oh, everything's these bitches' fault. That
he
does.
He's
just like kind of openly a hater of women, I think. So it's like, well, maybe Nick hates women because his dad does.
But like, what does that add to the story?
Also, maybe like an indicator of like a bad childhood. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not great, but later, frickin' Benny Affleck talks about becoming, or his sister talks about him being just like Dad.
I guess so, but that was like in relation to like not being emotional cheating or something like that, which wasn't what was set up in this scene. So
look, I'm just trying to draw some freaking lines here. Are you gonna just...
It reminded me of our last episode when we did family, like how they also had like a random, my dad's an alcoholic and let's go to his AA rock band and never talk about it again.
Look, I liked that scene, okay?
Sometimes you just gotta meet someone's dad in a movie.
I guess so. It just seemed like...
It was fine.
At 2.5 hours, some things could have been cut, and that was one of them, in my opinion.
That's fair.
We're getting the Kayla cut?
Getting the Kayla cut on that one. So going back to the diary, we get another flashback, and they're having a hot date at a Chinese restaurant, and they have bought each other the same set of sheets. And now, if anything ever made you horny...
Sheets?
Sexy
You know what those are for? That's how you know they're rich and dull as fuck.
They don't have any interests.
They're just like, you know what we do on this. You know which two things we do on
this.
this.
That is like the main defining, like, what seems to bring them together is that they both like having sex. Like, they don't share any other interests together, right? Like, they both are writers, I guess, but they lose their job, and that never comes up, like, really.
Literally all their dialogue early on is, of their early relationship is just being coy.
Yeah.
And just being like, oh, is this the kind of help you needed up the stairs? And she's like, only if you could catch me. And it just doesn't make sense.
They banter and fuck. I mean,
yes.
Honestly, I don't know what else I want from a relationship. Respect?
I love constantly being heightened at all times,
we must always be
waiting
on.
for the moment to pounce.
Yes.
Yeah. And they do a scavenger hunt after that, an F in the bookstore.
Gross.
Yeah.
Did not appreciate that.
I think that's a crime.
This is, as a former bookstore employee, fuck you. Do not fuck in my store. I will kill you.
Honestly.
I thought, this made me think, because I think it happens a lot in movies, people aren't out there fucking in public that much, are they? Not in bookstores.
I mean, I hope not. I've never...
People fuck in
I worked
places.
in a bookstore for a long time. As far as I know, nobody ever fucked in there.
I used to work at the movies, and it was a regular occurrence for us.
Okay, yeah, movies a high
that's
fucking
different.
area.
Yeah, I've dabbled.
Colin!
Dabbled in theater.
Not to brag. NTB. No. But like,
Wow.
what was I on about?
Fucking in
Never
the movies.
mind. I got derailed.
Interesting.
Change the subject.
I feel like it's more of like a teens thing.
Well, that's when I did
where
it.
like you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yes.
So you just do it in public
You
places.
are. That is exactly what I did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are
Ding,
grown
ding.
adults with their own bed that they even have nice sheets for, obviously. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what that's on about. There's no reason to have sex at the freaking bookstore because you get horny at the bookstore, duh, and then you go home with the books you got from the bookstore.
yeah, where some minimum wage employee isn't going to come around the corner and be like, "Oh no!"
Exactly.
And like in this day and age, like there are cameras everywhere. I would not trust doing it in public anywhere.
No.
It just seems like they're an extremely boring and shitty couple, and one that you wouldn't want to spend any time with. Even in Amy's portrayal of them being super happy.
It's like, we're so happy. All we do is just have like crazier and crazier sex. But like, obviously that's going to plateau at some point, right?
It's also like, neither of them have like real jobs. The whole thing is built on a house of cards.
Yes.
So true. Let's see. Around this time is when the cops find Clue 1 envelope in the underwear drawer. which they refer to as the unmentionables drawer.
Oh,
You can't say underwear.
Because they'd be Southern.
I like that.
Love that. Yeah, so they find clue 1, and yada, yada, yada. They find clue 2, but Ben Affleck acts like he doesn't know what clue 2 takes him to, but he actually does, and the cops are following him now.
Yeah, I don't know why he just goes places like they're not going to follow him.
And why didn't he just tell them? Like, the whole thing is crazy.
I have a theory that really clears his character up a lot.
Go ahead.
Okay.
He's a himbo.
You know what?
What's a himbo?
He vacillates between having the physique of a himbo and just being normal, because I guess in the middle of the movie he was bulking up for Batman. And
right.
So like in some shots he's super like beefy, and in some he's just a normal man, so maybe that explains why sometimes he exhibits himbo behavior.
My man is dumb as a box of rocks. He's got nothing going on upstairs. Very little cognitive activity. Object permanence, iffy.
Yeah, it's rough in that scenario.
But he is hunky. So, look.
I kept looking at it and being like, am I crazy? Or is his body changing in between scenes? And then I looked it up.
Apparently the wife did too. A lot of weight loss and weight gain to be herself at different ages in the movie.
What
or
happened
I don't know.
this movie?
Yeah, it's a point in the book that she does gain weight while she's doing her thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we'll get there, but she does at one point have a scene where she's like floating in the pool eating chips and shit, and then it's like, oh no, she's getting fat. She
Right.
would never eat chips.
Even her first runaway scene when she has like a hamburger in the car.
Oh yeah, that's true. She's like, I'm gonna eat like a regular person now.
So people are starting to really observe Ben Affleck's character and judge him for smiling one time since his wife is missing.
Look,
Yeah.
you cannot smile if your wife is missing.
This is like such a true crime thing too, because people are like, oh, well, they did this. Doesn't that seem strange to you? And it's like, you understand that the scenario where someone who is close to you is like murdered or missing or whatever is a really weird scenario. Like, how do you think that you understand how someone would act?
Honestly.
I would not be well.
Yeah, everybody becomes like a behavior expert.
It's fucking confirmation bias. It's just like, you're twisting it in a way that supports your theory.
Right.
Or whatever you're positing.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody thinks that he has probably killed his wife.
Yeah, he's like being like friendly with like a cute girl that was volunteering, and just like, that's bad. You can't talk to people.
That was a weird situation.
It was weird.
She was pushy.
She was pushy. She was a little freak.
Don't push on himbos.
No.
It's true. Leave the himbos alone.
So
They're just gentle giants.
Oh my God. So he gets sick of being judged so hard, and he yells, "I'm so sick of being picked apart by women." And then we find out that he has a young baby girlfriend who it was one of his students. Apparently he's a teacher. And
Yeah, we never ever see him teach or anything, right?
no.
True. He does not at any point during this go to work. He owns a bar, but he also apparently teaches classes. I guess this is the summer, so maybe it's just he's not working.
Okay.
yeah, maybe. I mean, the last thing we hear about his jobs is that he's lost his job, right? And we never, it's not really like...
Well, that was in the recession.
Right. And they've been in Missouri for 2 years, but there was never really like a... They always made it seem like he was mooching off of his wife, but she never got a job again, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she doesn't have a job. She just had a trust fund.
But her trust fund got drained by her parents in the recession.
Yeah.
So she also is not rich.
It's Missouri. Everything costs $1.
It's true. She still had like a little bit of money, like whatever $8,000 was left in the trust fund was just getting them by so far.
Just interesting.
Yeah, so they have their like ugly ass house that she got with her fucking trust fund or whatever. She didn't even need to work.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, the money stuff
I
doesn't
guess so,
add
though
up.
it does seem like what another like aspect of suspicion, which is very frequently an issue in all these like just. I don't know how to describe that, like, every, like, prominent true crime case that is, like, about, like, a married couple in the suburbs like this is just identical to this story.
Yeah.
They're all the same. And one of them is that always the couple is deeply in debt.
Deeply in debt, and then somebody's cheating.
They can't help themselves.
Yeah, it's hard.
You know?
She's very pretty.
I think it's because most of the people in the suburbs are evangelicals. But
Yeah, that might have something to do with it.
They're repressed.
It might also be that they
that's why
hate each
they're
other.
popping off.
Like this couple does.
Yeah,
They hate each other.
That's what evangelicalism teaches, too.
True.
It's just like, if you're a man, you hate your wife.
He feels judged by his wife all the time, so he finds a, dumb young girl who doesn't have no thoughts so that he can just be with her, and also their only thing in common is that they fuck, too.
Yeah.
He has a type.
They both fuck, they're both dumb.
Yeah, they both fuck, they're both dumb, but one of them is judgier than the other. And this chick storms in the house and is, basically on top of him, will not even listen to anything he's saying.
She wants it.
His sister's in the other room, hachi machi. The man's having a whole thing going on.
His poor fucking sister.
Yeah.
His twin sister this entire time is just seeing, more and more of the story and being bro, what the fuck?
She's the protagonist.
She actually is maybe one of the only likable characters in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because she's just God damn it, my fucking brother. The whole time.
Yeah.
That's her role.
I love you, but you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. She rules.
Yeah, sister's cool. So we go back to another flashback from the diary where they had a fight about wanting to have kids. And Ben Affleck throws Amy to the ground. He throws her so easily. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
And then she writes, "I'm frightened of my own husband." And she's losing her mind. And she buys a gun. And this is all according to the diary.
Yeah, she's I bought a gun because I think he might kill me. And, literally, the last line in the diary is, this guy might kill me.
Right. Ominous. And they end up finding the diary later, burned in the basement of Ben Affleck's dad's house, which was interesting. I'm going to get into the diary later because I have some thoughts, but I want to...
But still readable.
I want to get up to the twist.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, we just get a few more, clues coming in. They illumine the kitchen and find that there was blood everywhere. Interesting. They have the vigil where the neighbor, storms in and says, what she, makes a whole speech. "Excuse me, what did you do with your wife?"
Freaking Guerrero.
"She was pregnant," and everybody.
Oh, yeah, another hallmark
rocked.
of the true crime case is an unwanted pregnancy. An inconvenient pregnancy, at least.
And they are $117,000 in credit card debt somehow. How do you even rack up that many credit cards? I don't know.
We all been there.
I've certainly been in credit card debt, but I'll tell you, nobody would give me any more than what I had.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you give me some tips on how to get that sweet line of credit?
I can get you about $15,000 in credit card debt, and then I don't know what to tell you to do from there.
The train stops there, Betty.
And everybody's just trying to pin this murder on him. And it seems like he's starting to lie a lot. We don't know, who to believe. They bring in, he says she didn't want a baby. She says he didn't want a baby. We don't know what's going on. They follow the clues to the last clue place, which which ends up being the sister's barn, where he finds all the stuff that they said was bought on the credit cards that he had never heard of. And it's in this moment that we get the big twist. So spoiler alert, if you're listening and you haven't seen it, you don't want to know what the big twist is. It's quote big twist.
Fine.
I think people know what Gone Girling is by now.
Yeah.
Just
We're
in
all
case,
doing it.
she framed her own death. She framed him for her own death. So as soon as this twist is revealed, I think the rest of the movie from here is just 1 million plot holes.
Yeah.
I still found it entertaining to watch, but you can't help but think about the logic. Starting with looking in this barn where they have all this stuff inside.
Yeah.
There is a 65-inch TV, which Amy could not have gotten into that shed by herself. The police made no effort to interview salespeople or delivery people. And no one commented on either this one woman taking multiple trips or a large moving truck with helpers all loading this stuff into this barn right outside the sister's house.
Yeah.
I got some rebuttals.
I will say that it seems weird that the sister did not at any point notice that a lot of stuff was appearing in that shed. So she'd never go in there. But I also kind of assumed that this is something Amy was doing over like a long period of time. Like she was just ordering stuff and kind of like stashing it in there. I guess there is a huge TV.
Yeah.
But also the fact that the police don't interview anyone, I don't really think is a plot hole because often they don't give a fuck and don't put in any work.
That's on the basis of police doing their jobs, which
they don't.
Questionable.
Could be true. But if you just think like, well, I saw this credit card statement that from a joint credit card, clearly you bought all these things and you're bad. Like, that just seems like you wouldn't look into that at all. I don't know. Interesting.
He's not that smart.
Yeah.
He's a himbo. Okay.
Yeah, that is, sometimes the lead detective at one point says something like, sometimes he says things that sound stupid, but I thought maybe he's just stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you had it.
Box of rocks.
So they backtrack to the day of and start the story over, kind of showing how the wife orchestrated this whole scheme. So she's watching and reading a lot of true crime. Okay.
I love they pan over like a bunch of true crime books she has too, and one of the most prominently displayed one is Helter Skelter, which I had to laugh at because I was like, that doesn't have shit to do with this. Like, what did you learn from Helter Skelter?
That's hilarious. So she has like a whole list of like things she came up with, like a checklist for how to frame her husband for her murder, which included like befriending a local idiot, secretly creating money troubles. But they actually did have money troubles though, right? Like because they were both laid off.
They did have legitimate money troubles.
So didn't need to do that, but she did. Bumped up her life insurance, purchased a getaway car, faked a pregnancy using the neighbor's urine. Interesting.
That was pretty good.
Drained her own blood to put it all over the floor, which there was discourse about draining that much blood. She probably actually would have died.
No. She's so strong. She can do anything.
And then she faked the diary, which invented like the whole narrative of him being abusive and all that kind of stuff.
Dedication.
And then burned it. So back to my thoughts on the journal. So they find this journal burned in Ben's dad's house. And they don't think it's weird at all that for 7 years she's avidly journaled and it only takes up one notebook. And they believe everything at face value.
It does seem like a really convenient like set of descriptions too.
Right.
I don't know, maybe she wrote other stuff in between just to dull it up a little bit, but
7 years would have taken a lot of notebooks too. And they can also age like ink on stuff. They would have been able to tell that it was all written.
No,
Yeah.
The cops aren't good at their jobs.
Yeah, I will say this is something where I actually thought that in the book the plot twist didn't like add up completely because it did not completely sell me on her being a complete fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Like Nick's descriptions of her doesn't necessarily make her sound like she's that evil. And that's not, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily the point. Like, I'm like, oh, the psychological profile is lacking or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's true that I think no one could do this. I think you could not pull this off in real life. There's probably no way.
Right. And they did have forensic people look at the handwriting. So, you know, there is some precedent to say that they would have forensic people examine the ink. But also, I think it was so unnecessary because, like, they had real money troubles and he was cheating on her. So, like, that right there is motive enough. Like, you don't really have to, like, invent this, like, violent streak or whatever, right?
Yeah, I kind of feel like in real life, if you had done this much extra work, that is, like, gonna make you get caught.
Right, it's too extra.
Totally.
Yeah, you're trying too hard.
It's too much evidence.
I mean, in true crime, how many men kill their wives because they're cheating and they want to be with the other girl or whatever?
I was gonna say, like, that's all you really need.
Honestly.
All you need to do is go missing and have a husband, and they're like, oh, well.
Sorry, bud. It's a very cheesy movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I feel like it's supposed to be kind of the ultimate, like, holy grail true crime case. Like, look at all these twists and turns. And ultimately, you have to say also that if this happened, you don't need the cops to be investigating it. Motherfuckers on Reddit would be like, this doesn't add up.
Yeah.
It would be Yeah, there's no way that this would go without, like, scrutiny.
But we do have, like, the propaganda that seems to be on every single TV, 100% of places, 100% of the time. Missy Pyle's show.
Yeah,
oh my
that's
God.
true. Yeah, fucking Nancy Grace.
God, yes. I have such an aversion to Nancy Grace. I don't know why, but for some...
It's because she's a vulture.
At one point, like, she just dominated 1 week of social media or something, and it broke my fucking brain how much Nancy Grace I watched in that, like, 1 fucking week, and ever since, it's just been, like, an open wound. Anytime Nancy Grace... and Missy Pyle did a great fucking job. She's awesome.
Yeah.
But I was just furious. I'm just pissed off watching this. Like, shut the fuck up! Why? You don't... You're bullshit.
It shows, like, sort of how... people come out of the fucking woodwork being like, oh, I want to be involved in this, or like, I see this guy going down, I want to get in on it.
I have an opinion. They kind of wrap it into, like, white feminism, too. Like,
hell yeah.
But yeah, like, and Amy plays that. She's like, oh, I know I could be, like, the beautiful victim when no one's ever met me.
Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of getting her side of things now, her real side of things. She's on the run. And I thought it was pretty funny that she goes to a gas station bathroom to dye her hair just like one shade darker of blonde.
Yeah.
And then goes to a hotel room where she could have dyed her hair.
I'm famously not a hair expert, but yeah, that dye didn't do anything, did it? Because she just went blonde to blonde.
It was like, you could cut it, too. That would
She took a
it.
little off. She took, like...
She cuts, like, 1 inch of the ends off and dyes it one shade of blonde.
She freaking trimmed her dead ends.
This is part of her fucking nefarious plot. She's like, I don't even need to change my hair that much, but I want to feel like I'm a spy.
Okay, this... Oh my God. This leads to a point that is... Or broke my brain.
What?
Amy, on the run, watches the Nancy Grace show at one point with this new friend she makes when she's living at the motel. What's the friend's name?
I don't know. But they don't recognize her. Is that what you're getting at?
They're watching the fucking show! And purposefully, they never show fucking Amy's face on the screen while they're watching it together, coincidentally enough. But, like...
I think she leaves the room when her face comes on screen, just by chance.
I was just like, oh, fuck you. She's right there and does not look different.
But she has glasses on and 1 shade darker of blonde hair, and she's wearing a fucking bandana all over her head like a goddamn freak.
Yeah, she looked dumb as hell. I was like, what are you trying to put out?
You don't see people walking around with bandanas like that. And if you do, they are a criminal. Call the cop. No, don't call the cops. But
call your parents.
Mom, forgive me. They're gone girling. Yeah.
No sane person wears a bandana like that.
She's also, like, at a seedy motel in the Ozarks. So, like, everybody there's a criminal.
True. And... Ew, she hits her own eye with the little, like, ball peen hammer or whatever.
She has a black eye so that they'll be like, oh, she's abused.
100 better ways to get that effect than actually hitting yourself with a fucking hammer. Again.
Makeup,
they're
hello.
just two dumb, unlikable people.
Yeah, no, the whole time she seems like she's real fucking high off her own genius. Like, she's like, look what I've done.
She is. She's never been hornier.
Yeah.
Give me the hammer.
She has actually, she's way hornier for framing her husband for a crime than she has ever been for actually fucking him.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yep. That's her fetish. I think it's her fetish. As we find out later.
Straight people, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they sort of posit that.
Also have to note her calendar that she makes.
Oh my God, I wrote in my notes that I love her murder calendar.
Literally has written down every single step of faking her own death. So if anybody finds it, that's not incriminating. But also the post-it note that says, kill self, question mark.
Yeah.
Gotta love that one.
Gives herself a couple options on that one, which is smart.
Yeah, you always want to give yourself an out.
Yeah, for sure. I loved that. So, like, her first plan was that she was going to frame her husband for murder and then kill herself, which seems like...
Why do it in the first place? Yes! Why?
I mean, that's such a, like, just purely out of spite. She just, like, wants him to swing.
Just so unhinged. And I don't know when this happens, but at some point we get the flashback of her catching him cheating on her with his baby girlfriend outside of the bar because they were on a date.
They were on a date at the bar he
owns with his sister. Was his sister not there? Because she didn't seem to know that he was cheating.
How did his sister not know?
Oh, man. Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he's very good at keeping things secret.
Wow. No, he sucks.
Yeah,
he's
dumb.
Also, this movie doesn't make sense. He's is great.
He's a dumb, sad himbo.
Yeah. I realized that at the end of the movie, and once I was upset that I realized it so late because it really finally made me empathize with him. I was like, you're dumb.
That he's a himbo?
No, I'm not, famously not a himbo. I'm just what's the dumb part?
Bo?
Wait, what makes you not a himbo?
What?
Which part do you not have?
I don't have the hunk part. I just got the dumb part.
Colin, I gotta say, you might be a himbo.
I'm a hunk in training. Trust me, I'm trying to get...
You might be a himbo.
Trust me, I would kill to be a himbo.
I don't know what level of bulk you have to have before you can be a himbo.
That's what I'm saying.
Rather than just a dumb guy.
Colin's got big muscles.
I got medium muscles.
We don't have to talk about Colin's muscles.
That's weird.
What we can talk about is Ben Affleck going to the lawyer now to help him get off scot-free.
Tyler Perry is fine.
Also, this is just a funny filming note. Ben Affleck flies to New York, I think, to meet this lawyer. And at some point when he's in the airport, Missy Pyle's show, of course, is on playing in the airport for some reason. And his face is shown, so he puts on a baseball cap. And apparently, production on the film had to be shut down for 4 days because Ben Affleck refused to wear a New York Yankees baseball cap.
Boy, that good old Sox. Go Sox!
Oh, right.
And they eventually compromised, and he wore a Mets
big
cap.
Old fucking Red Sox.
Go
person.
Sox!
Oh my god, it's a character.
So.
Go Sox!
Honestly, the Bostonian actor said to Fincher, "David, I love you. I would do anything for you, but I will not wear a Yankees hat."
Oh my god!
Attaboy.
Shut down production for 4 days. Now that is some diva level shit.
This is like the one circumstance where I think directors should be more abusive.
Honestly, that's fucking insane, dude. That's insane.
Just kick it, man.
I respect it.
No.
Sorry. I love...
Colin always respects when men are shitty.
Not always.
I think you're just like super caping for Ben Affleck in this. And that's fine. He needs a champion.
Colin just wants Ben Affleck to be his friend.
Oh my god.
Listening, Ben?
Oh my god, I would love that. Oh, I would pick up smoking. I'd pick up cigarettes for him. I would not go back to drinking. I'm sorry, Ben.
You guys could be sad boys together.
Man, we would just listen
I hate
to
this. That'd be a downgrade.
The Cure and play N64. Like,
oh wow,
we'd be fine.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, back to the movie. We learn about how Amy had a string of ex-boyfriends or whatever who, quote, assaulted her. But now that we know she's framed Ben for her murder, he is going to get their stories. So apparently she falsely accused one man of first-degree felony rape, where he was facing 30 years to life. And he was able to plead down to sexual assault 1 with no jail time, which is something I love about our criminal justice system.
The most realistic thing in the movie.
So now this man's a sex offender for life, and he's having trouble. And we love to see representation of women falsely accusing men of rape, too, which, as we know, is true and happens.
This was a big fucking issue, yeah.
And that is sarcasm, just in case that wasn't clear.
First, for some point, he was like, I haven't had a job in 8 years. Man, how did you buy the drink at the bar?
Yeah.
Like, what have you been doing?
Fair.
I had more questions.
I know.
What have you been up to?
Also,
8
sex
years?
offenders do get jobs, have to say.
I was gonna say, yeah, like...
Yeah, this guy was exaggerated.
I mean, probably her being able to pull the stuff off with anyone who's ever wronged her makes more sense in the context that she's a rich person with a trust fund.
Totally.
That is true,
So she's just kind of going through life doing whatever she wants. Something that seems a little suspect is that her husband seems to have not noticed this tendency in her to be a stone fucking cold psychopath until she frames him for murder.
Candace?
Yes.
Would my man pass an 8th grade math test?
See, this might be some of the straight representation going on in this. Yeah, he's never noticed anything about her other than what pertains to him.
Because he's never
other
done
than
any...
that she has a world-class vagina.
He has noticed the world-class vagina.
Oh, hachi machi. He later describes her as having the ass of a 20-year-old stripper, I believe.
Oh my god.
Which we all know exactly what that looks like.
Sure.
Yeah, and in the scene with the guy who she accused of rape too, he kind of says something like, well, she just had a lot of expectations and I knew it wasn't going to be easy, so I kind of backed out. And, I mean, if you've ever dated a straight man, I kind of feel like there is a moment of, like, being enraged. Like, okay, it's too hard for you.
Oh yeah, you're talking to the epitome of that rage, of being like, what, I'm too fucked up? I'm the troublesome one? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, no, it's totally self-important. It's dudes who have never done any actual critical self-analysis that allows them to empathize with their partner and, like, actually connect on any fucking meaningful level other than, we like to fuck real good and we eat dinner together. Because that's, like, all straight people are told, like, fucking love is.
Yeah, that is straight culture.
Yeah.
So you see where these things happen that justifiably make her enraged, and then because she has no ability to empathize, apparently, she just does what I guess probably most straight women do want to do to their shitty partners.
Yeah.
She's pissed off about that cool girl thing.
She's
like,
super pissed off about it because she chose to remain a size 2 through her whole life, so she's just so fucking hungry.
And, you know, I kind of read some stuff about it where they were saying, like, that it is sometimes a thing where, like, straight women in particular, feel like to impress men that they need to, like, kind of mold their interests to meet the man's interests to appear cool. Or, like, I can drink beer, I can watch the game, you know, I can be cool and, you know, be complacent and never bring up anything that's bothersome or address any of your abusive tendencies. But, like, men never get that same thing. Like, you don't see men, like, taking up knitting or, you know, or getting, like, the apple teenies or something to impress women. Like, and this is strictly speaking of straight culture, because those things are all straight. So that maybe this time with this man who she framed for rape, like, that was a time where she's trying to be herself and meet in the middle, and he's not having it, and so she frames him for rape.
Yeah, so she does.
I don't know.
Jesus.
Hate it.
Yeah, not great.
So we pass by the bar again, which is now bopping, because now everyone thinks he's a killer. It's a hot spot. That's also straight culture.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. We love patronizing killers. I will. That's a part where
give killers more money.
Yeah, we love to give suspected murderers money.
Look, I try to not dabble in that, but as a straight person, I just can't. You know, can't fight it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's hard. You got to get those Gacy prints, you know.
Yeah. The detectives are starting to get fishy over how easily all the clues are fitting together. What else? The wife's in the Ozarks, and the neighbors see her fat wad of cash that she's carrying.
And she just drops on the ground.
Oopsie!
I mean, they're incompetent. They're goofballs trying to get along.
She doesn't get as much credit for being stupid.
No,
Why did she even befriend them in the first place? First of all,
don't talk to people.
You're on the run.
Stupid.
Yeah.
This is like freaking Raising Arizona in the sense that it is just two total dummies.
Yeah.
Doing like illegal
crimes,
things, doing illicit things.
Because then the neighbors steal her money, and the first thing she does is meets Neil Patrick Harris at a casino, historically the most videotaped recorded places on Earth.
True. Very true.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that. That's also, she She meets up with Neil Patrick Harris because she's decided that she's not actually going to go through with killing herself. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
She says, why should I have to die? I'm not the asshole.
Sure, yeah.
Took you that long?
Yeah. Love that.
Honestly. And she loses her only fallback was this 1 wad of cash that she lost, and now her whole plan's in the wind.
Yeah, her new friends fucking took off with it. And good for them.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, so she has to come running to Neil Patrick Harris, who I guess is one of the former boyfriends that she accused of doing horrible things to her.
And guess what? He is psychotic.
Yeah, he actually is
he's
horrible.
Off from the get-go. Yeah. He's off from the get-go. He's a very creepy, I don't know. You don't really know at first, like, what's his deal, but he is, something's wrong about him.
Unsettling.
Which I would say is true in real life, too.
Yes. It's his face. Something about it.
I just saw him on this TV. Have y'all watched that, what's that organizing show that's on Netflix now? The Home Edit?
No, I don't know. I'm anti-organizing. Don't believe it.
Same.
I just watched this show, The Home Edit, which is like a reality show of these 2 people that organize people's houses for a living. And he was one of, like, every episode they weirdly have a celeb who needs their house organized. And he was one of them. He was one of the celebs. And I'll tell you,
He did not need it organized.
he was
way.
off. He was off. I don't know, man. The man's weird, and I just don't trust his vibe.
Yeah, you know why? Because he was a child actor.
Yeah, maybe true. And maybe like
yeah.
years of playing a straight man is
Could've
like
been.
instilled like a self-hatred thing in him too, probably.
Yeah, it could have fucked him up.
Ugh, don't love. Anyway, he also says when they're at his guest house or wherever she's staying, "You're more than safe here. I'm not letting you get away again." That's scary.
Yeah,
Never tell someone that they're
his
safe.
captive.
That's just straight people.
So what happens? He's a full psychopath. The cops get a call about a suspicious character near the sister's shed, so they arrest the sister and Ben later on. Both get arrested for murder. I just don't really see how those things add up. Doesn't seem like enough evidence for anything. Okay, so you bought stuff on a credit card. You didn't buy murder tools.
This is like a whole thing because as a longtime consumer of true crime, very rarely does anybody get arrested for murder when there is not a body. Because apparently juries are kind of just like that, where there's like a whole...
They said
there's like a whole object permanence kind of thing, where they're like, well, I don't see them. They are not dead. So, therefore, like, I don't know if they're dead, so you can't prove they're dead.
Yeah.
Schrodinger's body.
Yeah, so it doesn't track for me there. Then we cut back to Amy. What's going on with her? She's setting up Neil Patrick Harris for rape again. This is classic Amy shit now.
This sucked to watch.
This whole scene is like like fucking gross and like tawdry, and personally the whole murder scene, love it.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
It's pretty. It's
gruesome.
Yeah, it's jarring. I mean, we're just gonna go ahead and jump all the way to the death scene.
Well, first she like goes through the day where she untucks his shirt so that he'll walk out of the house on camera and tucking his shirt in, and then she spills wine all over her dress and cries at the window so that the camera will pick up her looking like she's bloody and crying. She binds her wrists to put like ligature marks on her wrists, and then she like fucks herself with a champagne bottle or something.
Yeah.
Hate that. Hate all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very disgusting and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Weren't there cameras everywhere, though?
Only on the outside.
Oh, I didn't...
Yeah, so she's trying to play at the cameras to try to get them to, like, kind of shape her narrative.
Let's get through his death.
Yeah.
And then I have a note on the cameras. So he comes home and basically she fucks him to death.
Well...
She fucks him right to death.
She fucks him and he's like, I'm gonna come, and then she slits his throat and keeps fucking him while he's dying.
You know what?
What?
If you're gonna go out, is that really the worst way?
I think it made him pretty happy.
Yeah, because you're already doing that. You've already got that, like, rush of blood every, like... You know what? You're like, your freaking serotonin is Russian because of the... I don't want to say it because I'm not a freaking raunch monster, but it starts with an O.
Apparently also,
orgasm.
she practiced slitting throats of pigs to get the to get to
No.
Yeah.
Are you fucking
Wow.
kidding me?
She went to a butcher and
Wow.
slit a bunch of pigs' throats, and she's like, I'm just slicing all these throats, and then I realized, like, oh, there's, like, customers in here coming to just, like, get their, you know, ham hock or whatever, and I'm just back there slitting.
They just be seeing Rosamund Pike, like, in there, like, going fucking nuts on the
and
pigs.
she's like, people probably thought it was insane, but it didn't even occur to me.
That's dedication.
She also mentioned on several talk shows that she bought a Dora the Explorer doll and tied it to a post to practice fucking this doll and slitting its throat.
Oh, wow. Why Dora the Explorer?
I have no idea. And why the fucking wooden stake pole that she used, I don't know. It does not make sense to me.
Wow. Actors, they're just like us.
She kind of seems a little unhinged, honestly.
I love that for her. This dude is so fucking gruesome. I don't know.
Blood everywhere. So much blood. And then we get a tiny weenie shot right before the end of the scene, too. And I didn't know if that was the weenie shot in question. When I told Colin that we were doing this movie, Colin mentioned that there was a peen scene.
No, I did not expect to see his weenie.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
there's multiple weenies, actually, in this.
Yeah.
I was happy.
Multiple schlongers.
But, however, she has full underwear on the entire time they're fucking somehow. Which I just thought was interesting.
Yeah.
She never takes her underwear off, and they don't even look like they've been pushed aside or anything.
She's a never
No.
nude.
Interesting.
She goes back home covered in blood, and now she has to, like, undo everything she set up to and, like, remake it into a new lie.
Yeah, she saw old boy on the news, on the talk show, talking about how much he loves his wife and stuff, and she was like, that seems nice. I'm ready to go back.
Yeah, I forgive him. And she got out her fetish on another man.
So, yeah, that's true. She did get to kill someone.
And that was her goal, ultimately.
It kind of does seem like she just wanted to kill someone the whole time. She's a super fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
And she got to pull, like, a J. Walter Weatherman on her husband, teach him a lesson.
Yeah. So from here on, it's just even more plot holes, I would say.
Oh, the end is wild.
Yeah, her story is that Neil Patrick Harris was keeping her tied up, captive, and raping her, and she killed him during the rape or whatever. And, but, like, how did she get the knife if she was tied up? Comes up. Also, she's at the hospital, so they've clearly done, like, you know, a rape kit probably and tested her for stuff. They would have noticed that she wasn't pregnant and also didn't show signs of a miscarriage. And the pregnancy was a big clue or whatever in her missing person case. So it's interesting that they didn't notice that. Also, she tells them to find the camera footage of Neil Patrick Harris's the things that she set up earlier. But if they found the camera footage, they also would have seen her walking into the house on her own free will before she found out there were cameras. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like I said, like the whole like likelihood of being able to get away with faking your own death, that's already bad and fake.
Yeah.
Trying to come back from faking your own death.
And now she's like hodgepodge. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, even if the cops didn't figure it out, which, okay, maybe they wouldn't. I'm just saying, people on the internet would super figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Also, like, since she is now alleging that Neil Patrick Harris abducted her from her home, and that was the abduction that happened. I mean, he wouldn't have had time to clean up the blood. She doesn't know what he was doing at that time because it was days earlier, right? And he seems like a businessman. He probably has a cell phone. He seems busy. He probably has an alibi. Or at least they can probably track where he was via his cell phone at the time of the kidnapping and just clear his name. So, like, all of this would just get, like, totally unraveled instantly, I think.
Yeah, it's not...
Without a doubt.
Like, it's a plot twist that, like, it's a good one in that, like, you know, it like, manipulates you emotionally into, like, believing something else, and then it's like, psych, motherfucker, but it does a good job at surprising you because it does not work.
Right.
It doesn't actually hold up.
And I did find it still, like, entertaining to watch, but it is, like, none of this adds up.
Yeah, I do feel like you just have to suspend
really.
your disbelief on the actual detailed plot shit, because it's actually a story about straight people hating each other and manipulating each other, and maybe also what attracts people to true crime and stories about straight people that hate each other.
Yeah, they just like to watch the car crash or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just a great train wreck to watch.
And it seems like she's just going to go back to, like, living her normal life, and, like, the police seem to think they can't do anything about it, and Ben is kind of trapped or whatever. And we find out that she is actually pregnant, but, like, how is never really explained.
She
like,
does not explain how. They didn't
whose
fuck.
baby is it?
Yeah,
No.
he, apparently he was going to a fertility clinic, but, like, he was like, I thought they threw away my jizz, and maybe they didn't. Maybe she got pregnant
But
from
that
it.
jizz would have been old as hell by that point.
Yeah, right? Be some crusties.
So the whole shit is fucked up. And she's, like, basically, like, forcing him to stay with her, which sucks. I don't know.
It blows.
Yeah, and she says to him, like, you know, well, you want to stay with me because the version of yourself when you were trying to make me happy is the best version of yourself.
And she's like, do you think you'd be happy with a good Midwestern woman? No. You like me because I'm crazy, basically.
You can't handle me at my making annoying, elaborate scavenger hunts. You don't deserve me when I'm framing you for kidnapping and killing me.
Yeah, it's something like that.
I don't know. I mean, he could have at least, like, bugged his house or something to, like, get her put away. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's when the second peen happens, though, because she makes him go in the shower with her because she wants to make sure he's not secretly recording her.
And we get just a hint of a peen shot of old Ben Affleck there. And just for the record, you can find just the weenie shot, of course, on Pornhub if you need to look it up.
If you really want
If you need it. I get it, if you need
because
it.
it happened so fast that I didn't even remember seeing it. And I was like, wait, did I miss the weenie shot? So I did actually have to look it up to make sure I knew what I was talking about. So you can find it. It's out there. He's got a big old hog, but it's a split second. It wasn't even worth it for him to be naked. I don't know. Could have been cut.
It was his final himbo form.
Yeah. And the very last scene that happens is the same as the opening scene that was him, like, cuddling with her and talking about bashing her skull in. Roll creds. That's it.
Now I might kill her for real, for real.
We can only hope that one of them dies. Please, God, please.
Well, hopefully both of them, right?
Yeah, one or both. So yeah, is there anything we missed in the movie? Anything we need to talk about still?
It's just about being straight. This movie's about
it
straight
really
culture.
is.
Pretty much.
And having no personality.
Having no personality.
Yeah.
And maybe how much the rest of us like watching when that all kind of falls apart and ends in gruesome murder shit.
Yeah.
I do anyway, and I can't speak for anyone else.
So what would we rate this out of 5?
Because I think I'd go like 3.5.
It gets 2 stars for me. It was well executed for the most part. Like, Fincher is, if nothing, a competent director. And so, you know, I did, despite my rage, find myself enjoying parts. And it took me a while, and it was near the end that I kind of bought into the schlockiness of it.
Yeah.
And I really started to enjoy it.
Yeah, I love the schlockiness. It's, like, yeah. What you guys are saying about how horrible a lot of the aspects of the plot in this are, like, absolutely, it's part of the fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just over the top. It's just fucking wild.
Yeah, and that has value, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Bad stuff can be good, too.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's super pulpy. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's genre fiction for sure.
There was, like, Lifetime aspects.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Lifetime has its merit, you know? I don't watch Lifetime much anymore, but there certainly was a time that I did. Gosh, what am I going to say? I might also go 2. Yeah. I mean, it was entertaining enough, but it was long. The dialogue was terrible. There was 1,000 plot holes. And I don't like Ben Affleck. And therefore, it gets a 2 for me. Would we recommend this to other people?
Not usually.
I think I have to say no.
I made you guys watch it.
Yeah.
But that's because you guys have a movie podcast and you're down with watching.
This is our job.
You're down with
Yeah.
watching movies. Yeah, it's your job.
We watch all kinds of terrible shit.
Oh, yeah.
Kali, what would you say? Yes or no?
I'd say watch it once and never watch it again.
Watch it and fast forward to the penis and pause it and then turn it off.
Bleep.
Well, you can just
Done.
go on Pornhub. You don't even have, because you have to rent the movie. It's like, you can get it for free.
It's for the experience.
Why buy the cow or something? Colin literally tweeted this was the worst fucking movie he'd ever seen.
I
Earlier
hated
today.
it. This viewing experience was terrible. I hated it. but that doesn't mean it's a bad
It
movie.
is very unpleasant. This is where when you ask like if we would recommend this, I'm like, I try not to recommend movies to people because the movies I like are often extremely unpleasant.
That's fair.
Like, this is not by a long shot the most unpleasant movie I love.
So, yeah, consensus is no. It seems like.
Yeah.
I do recommend the book. I think the book's a really fun read, even if you don't like super unpleasant shit.
Now it's time for ScreenVomit.
So in this part of the podcast, we just chat about whatever else we've been watching, movies, shows, whatever. So Kali, what have you been watching?
Oh my god, I watched The Cell.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I watched that
Yesterday?
recently too.
How did that go?
That was just that was not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's a movie that it's a 50% movie. Like, I give it, so that's 2.5 stars?
Sure.
Because it's just tried for something. It had an idea, it had an ambition, but it was just not right in execution.
J-Lo
Sure.
looks good, though.
She looks really good. She looks outstanding.
We can watch
Just-
Hustlers to see hot J-Lo, though.
True. There's other hot J-Lo available.
Yeah.
This was pretty dumb, TBH.
There's good costuming, though. That's, like, actually the best part about it.
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
like, Vincent D'Onofrio and his, like, various crazy forms.
He's
I love Vincent D'Onofrio.
yeah, very fucking settings are wild, visually stunning, if you will, but it doesn't make a ton of sense.
It's also one of those movies
Or
that's like, this poor
good.
serial killer, he has to kill people. He has to kill and
Yeah,
torture
yeah.
women. And you're like,
It's
okay.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Candace, what have you been watching?
I watched Cam this week on Netflix.
Oh, you did? That's been on my list. I want to do that for the pod one day.
Yeah.
It's been on my list forever. Yeah.
I thought about doing that one, and then I was like, that would be too easy. But
You couldn't pass up an opportunity to recommend Gone Girl.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of the asshole that way, but I'll be happy when you do, Cam. Though that one's that one is really cool. Like, I mean, honestly, that one, the plot made me a little infuriated because I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on? But it's really cool. Like, it definitely did its fucking homework on the ins and outs of camming and sex work. I thought
Sick.
that was pretty cool. And, like, all the characters are, like, really compelling and likable for the most part, and it honestly, the real horror in it is from some of the shitty aspects of sex work. Honestly, more scary that stuff was than any of the weird, creepy, supernatural question mark elements of it.
Yeah.
I say
Yeah.
supernatural question mark because I had no fucking idea what was going on with that part of it. I was like, I don't
Hell yeah.
understand. I don't understand.
Sounds tight.
It is really good,
Yeah.
though.
I can't wait to watch it. It's been on my list.
The other thing that I would really recommend, I guess, is Blood Quantum on Shudder. If you have
Never
it.
heard of that one.
It's like a native zombie movie.
Oh, cool.
It's rad. I don't know. It's just a weird, fun movie, and I haven't ever seen anything quite like it.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Kayla?
I watched through the show Sex Education. Have y'all seen or heard of?
Lindsay loves it.
I have
Yeah.
heard of it, and I love Gillian Anderson, so someday I
Yes.
should watch it.
This is a show that I started watching a long time ago. Well, I watched like 5 minutes of it and was like, this is not for me. But I've had so many people recommend this show to me that I was like, I have to push past that 5 minutes and like give this a chance because so many people have said that this is a great show. I really need to. And guess what? It's a good show. My main issue was like, I don't love stuff that's like centered on sex. For me, that just ain't it. And especially this is teen sex, which is another level of I don't know, not for me. But the premise is that this kid, his mom is played by Gillian Anderson. Okay, yeah, love her, hot babe.
Seriously.
And she is a sex therapist, and he starts doing like sex therapy for kids at his school and like getting money on the DL.
Wow.
But it's actually pretty sick. And like, as far as teen TV goes, like I've said on this podcast a lot of times how like harmful I feel like most of teen TV is, because it's so like toxic relationships and like just terribleness. But this show actually, like, the stuff that this kid is doing is like teaching people how to have healthy boundaries and like have good communications with their partners and be safe and stuff like that. So like it actually is pretty sick. And haven't really seen anything else like it. The main girl looks just like Margot Robbie, so that's pleasant. Yeah. The only thing I would say, there's 2 seasons on Netflix right now. The very ending of the 2nd season, I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say didn't love the way that they ended that season. Other than that, good show. Recommend.
Hell yeah.
Candace, do you have plugs?
I do. Yeah, I host a podcast. It's called Not Your Final Girl, and we are, I talked about some of the movies that I have been watching that I'm not talking about on the podcast, but if you want to hear me talk about more movies, then you can hop on over there. I talk with some of my other friends about, horror shit.
I'm going to be on Candace's pod sometime in a couple weeks.
That'll be, we record so far ahead of time. I don't know when Kayla's episode will come out, but we are recording in October, so...
I'll talk about it once it's out.
Yeah, that one, I cannot wait to do that episode. I'm so pumped to talk about those movies.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. You have to listen. Yeah, you can, we're on Facebook and Instagram and all that shit. We're like NYFG Pod on Twitter and Instagram. We're Not Your Final Girl on Facebook. And we have a Facebook group called Not Your Final Girl Gang where you can just pop in and talk about whatever you want to talk about. And we'll be really excited and jump in and talk about it with you. I mostly ask questions there, but sometimes other people do, and it makes my day every time they do.
Aww. Love to have engagement from the audience.
I love talking. I love talking to the people who like to listen to me talk.
Hell yeah. All right, was that it for you?
I think that's about it.
Like and subscribe, babies, to both Candace's podcasts and ours if you haven't yet.
Yes.
And you can find us on all the things, of course, at ScreenVomit, one word. Give us a 5-star rating on your podcast app. We haven't had a new rating in a while, and I know that we have new listeners, so I see you. Please validate me. Also, if you like us, tell a damn friend, all right? We got to talk movies. And you can send us an email at screenvomitpod@gmail.com or tweet us with your thoughts on this movie or other movies. Next week, we're going to be watching the 2016 movie Shin Godzilla. And we have a guest on who is a bit of a Godzilla expert. So this is going to be a really fun one.
Hell yeah.
All right. And that's all our plugs for us. Thanks, Candace, for joining us on the pod.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
This was so much fun. Thank you for watching a movie that you both hated.
Not the first time. We've certainly seen worse that we picked for ourselves.
Enjoyment.
That ruled.
We usually pick movies that we've never seen, so it can go any manner of ways. So we've definitely had some 1-star films or 0-star films that we've done.
What's the 0-star one? Can you remember?
Oh,
Hummingbird Project.
Oh yeah.
I haven't even heard of that one.
I didn't know if we could give it 0 stars. Neither of us gave it 0 stars.
We might have given it 1 or a half.
Oh, you didn't
something.
know 0 stars was possible?
We each gave it a half. Yeah, but upon reminiscing, 0.
What's the cult one we did recently? That one was bad. The Other Lamb.
The Other Lamb.
Oh,
don't watch it.
Yeah, Hulu originals are deeply suspect to me ever since The Handmaid's Tale.
So yeah, we've done some stinkers, and that's fine because I think stinkers are fun too.
Maybe even more fun.
Yeah, they can be. So anyway, that's all for us. Bye.
Bye.